Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to a new video today. Now here's something really interesting. An original storyboard concept of the Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul fight. Now, there were a lot of moments, according to Nick Gillard, which I interviewed here on the channel just a few months ago, that a lot of the scenes during the fights were actually cut out due to pacing or whatever George intended. However, that doesn't just include the stuff that was filmed, it also includes stuff that was in the storyboards that could have potentially made it to the film. So here is one that was included in the Star Wars Archives book by Paul Duncan, episodes 1 to 3, 99 to 05. Now, I've also uncovered another book in my collection that I totally forgot about called Star Wars, the Prequel Trilogy Storyboards, or Star Wars Storyboards Prequel Trilogy. And in there's a ton of stuff that I'm going to get into. However, in today's video, we're going to cover something from the Star Wars Archives, and this is a storyboard from episode 1 at the very end, where Maul actually uses different moves to fight Qui-Gon Jinn, and a whole different scenario happens, which I personally feel like would have been much more exciting. However, it would have detracted from the 2 versus 1 battle. So here's what I mean by that. If we look at the storyboards here in full, and we read the write-up, 2.430 to 431, Bent and Jew's storyboards show alternative details and dynamics of the Darth Maul battle with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon evades Darth Maul by leaping over the pit and landing on a thin ledge. Maul uses the Force to make the ledge crumble, and as Qui-Gon jumps, Maul uses the Force to throw the Jedi into the pit. This is absolutely savage. Horrified, Obi-Wan takes on Maul and they battle, moving up to a higher level. Qui-Gon has survived by hanging on to a small outcropping, and when droids enter, the B-1 battle droids, Maul orders them to fire down on Qui-Gon. Imagine this scene, imagine this actually happening. This would have been so insanely intense. Obi-Wan then leaps into the droids to save his master. So he just jumps down, ignores Darth Maul, starts hacking away like crazy at all of these droids with his lightsaber. And you know, I'm a pretty big sucker for when it comes to lightsabers just slicing through things, especially droids. And I think this would have been a scene that would have been really pleasant to see, kind of like a ASMR, but for droids and lightsabers. Kind of just watching them all crumble away as Obi-Wan carves a path through them to get to Qui-Gon Jinn and to eliminate all the droids, maybe incorporating some Force powers and whatnot. Now, in my opinion, what saved Qui-Gon at the very end was his ability to transfer himself into the Force, which he hadn't completed his training. Now, he learned this from the Wills, and in the next video, maybe the next 2 or 3, there is an excerpt in this book, quite a long excerpt, on George's answer about the Wills. And the Wills were like these ancient deity godlike figures that really were above all and beyond Yoda and the Force and everything else. So I'm excited to actually go into that in depth with you guys, but as for this video, that is an alternate duel that would have happened with Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I want to know, what do you think? Do you wish that we maybe got to see this scene in the movie, or do you think that it really detracts from the overall focus that we had just on the 3 characters alone? And incorporating droids and stuff like that can get things kind of tricky, so it's possible that you may not like this, but I think it would have been pretty neat. You know, maybe even like as a deleted scene, I think it would be pretty fun to have seen this. One thing we didn't see too much of in the prequel trilogy, or at least with Darth Maul, of course, was his incorporation of the Force and his use of the Force. We only see that really once, when he uses the Force to throw the robot, the object, into the wall to access the panel so that the doors open. However, we don't really get to see him use it much beyond that, except for in the Clone Wars, you know, where he takes down a ship and all that, and his powers have really accentuated from the Phantom Menace. However, at this point, I think seeing him crumble a pathway with the Force is something that not a lot of us have seen in Star Wars before, at least in the movies. And this is always something that, you know, a little gripe that I had with Star Wars. I wish that they would have portrayed a little more of the Force powers that could have been kind of cool to see, you know, like crumbling the ground, the path before someone, or hurling objects and crushing them, or, you know, things that we see in The Force Unleashed, you know, taking stormtroopers and crushing them into a little ball, or taking a droid and crushing them, or taking, you know, objects or enemies or stormtroopers and incinerating them with a Force blast. I think incorporating different Force abilities besides the typical Force pull, push, choke, and electricity would have been pretty fun to see, and really opened up the whole world building of the Force and the Force Force abilities in general. Now, when it comes to Qui-Gon Jinn, we don't really see him use the Force all that much. I feel like Qui-Gon is more so known for his nobility and his rationale when it comes to dealing with the Jedi Council. Now, Qui-Gon was a Jedi Master, however, he was not on the Council, and he didn't want to be on the Council because he didn't need to conform to their overall wishes and the way they did things and their politics, which Qui-Gon Jinn didn't agree with, and felt that you need to trust in the Force itself and not so much listening to, you know, a bunch of old delegates that run politics around the galaxy. And of course, this is one of the main reasons why Count Dooku left. However, it was just a little too late when his apprentice, Qui-Gon Jinn, died. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this storyboard. Personally, I would have loved to have seen this. I think the incorporation of the B-1 battle droids and Qui-Gon Jinn, you know, ignoring the main task at hand, which was Darth Maul, to jump in and save his master, just shows how much emotion he had, how much care he had, and how vigilant he was to know what needs to be done at that right moment. Whether it's the Jedi Code or not to continue fighting or go save your master, I definitely give props to Obi-Wan for doing what he did, at least in the storyboard. And I want to know why George Lucas didn't go with this. I don't know why he just didn't want this in the film. Maybe he filmed it, maybe it was, you know, it's been done, but we'll never know. So let me know what you guys think about this. Thanks so much for watching, and of course those on Spotify and Apple iTunes, thank you so much for listening today. I'll see you guys all in the next episode here on Star Wars Theory. And I want to give a big shout out to all of you who have been purchasing the merch as of lately, especially with the July 4th sale that just happened. Head over to the merch shop and you can grab yourself any of the items that you so wish. Just make sure to use discount code THEORY at checkout for 10% off. Now, I will be unleashing and revealing a brand new summer collection, which will be a prequel trilogy collection. I'm very excited for this. I did a little reveal on my Instagram and Twitter and TikTok just a few days ago, and a lot of you seemed really interested. So I'm excited to bring this full collection to you guys this summer. It's going to be probably another week or so until I release it, maybe 2 weeks. I just want to get all the samples in and make sure they're of the quality that I want. So anyways, big shout out to all you guys. Thank you so much for blowing up the Spotify and the channel and the merch. And I couldn't be here without you guys. So let's keep going strong right into Ahsoka. And until then, expect more videos just like this. And of course, all your fan favorites. Until the next episode, remember the Force will be with you always.